Responsible investment is taking environmental, social, and governance issues and integrating it into the mainstream investment process. We believe that responsible investors are focusing on environmental and social issues because they are business risks, they are investment risks, and also present opportunities for investment managers and pension fund managers to make more informed decisions. And really, responsible investment is about looking at these issues because we believe in the long term it can lead to better shareholder value and better performance for the clients in these funds. Well, the environmental, social, and governance issues in Latin America are in some ways very similar to what we see in North America, in Europe, Australia, and Asia. Of course, everywhere you go, different themes have different weights attached to them. But in the Latin American market, obviously a very rich environment for natural resources. So when we're looking at mining companies or oil and gas companies, environmental issues are often front and center. So for Latin American companies operating in this part of the world, they absolutely have to understand the exposure they have to environmental issues, whether that's what they're doing, putting into the air, putting into the water. They have to manage their risks in that area. I think another important issue on the social side for Latin American companies is to ensure that they have a close and productive relationship with communities here. Certainly they have to involve communities and inform them in regards to what they plan to do in a particular area, keep them up to date on how their operations are going, so the community becomes an important stakeholder in the process and doesn't become an adversary. So certainly environmental and community issues are very important. And then I think in Latin America there's a real focus on corporate governance issues. I think as the global financial community looks more closely at this part of the world, governance is going to be an area they're going to focus on. They'll look at related party transactions. They'll look at the way boards and management are structured. So I think in both the E, environment, S, social, and G, corporate governance areas, there are some important things for Latin American companies to consider. Well, responsible investors are looking at environmental, social, and governance issues for two reasons. Number one, they believe that the world has changed and that if a board of directors or management at a company is ignoring environmental and social issues, that can present real risks to their business model. And so if you have an oil and gas company and they're ignoring climate change issues, or if you have a mining company and they're ignoring community relations, that can put the long-term business of the company at risk, at jeopardy. And so responsible investors want to look at those types of risks and make sure the company understands those risks and is managing and minimizing those risks. But the other side is that there's real opportunity. And I think responsible investors are looking for companies that embrace environmental and social issues as opportunities to grow their business, differentiate their business in a crowded, competitive marketplace. And we've seen that companies that embrace environmental, social issues as part of their business plan can help grow their revenues. It helps their reputation. It can help them manage and reduce costs. And anytime you can build that profit margin, that's good for shareholder value. So for responsible investors, it's about identifying risks and opportunities that the mainstream investment community often misses. Well, responsible investors have been focusing on some key issues that are important for, I think, financial markets moving forward. One of the key issues for responsible investors for the last 2 decades has been greater transparency in the financial markets. And so a great deal of focus of responsible investors around the world has been asking for companies to disclose more about what they do in the environmental, social, and governance area. Just because you disclose and are very transparent as a company doesn't necessarily lead to better performance on these issues, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. So I think responsible investors have a very important, in fact, a critical role to play in helping to reform financial markets moving forward, and transparency, greater transparency in financial markets is just one example. But responsible investors can't do it alone. I mean, there are many other things that need to be looked at as we look at financial reform and so on. But I think we, as responsible investors, have a critical role to play in demonstrating, as we have over the last 2 decades, that you can make better informed decisions, more broadly informed decisions, and still produce the results that our clients are looking for.